as I take command, tearing through the levels, leaving no one unscathed. I'm the king of the game and I won't be swayed. But there's something that I need, something to push me higher. Talk show Chris Collins and HenricK, they're on fire. They're watching all the rage quitters, exposing them with pain. They keep in gaming real, that's why they get all my respect from me. Rage quit, Chris and HenricK, don't you ever stop. You're the voice of the gamers, splittering rage quitters on the spot. Put your wit in laughter, you're the champions we need. Rage quit, Chris and HenricK, you're the heroes of the gaming breed. Turn around the video game mayhem. Chris Collins and HenricK, the rat bring the chaos. Gaming news and industry talk, they got it all. Rage quitting, head banging, it's a metal brawl. Mental meltdown, gaming in flames. Chris and HenricK bringing the thunderous rage. Video games and viral content, venom games, ripping through pixels, the ultimate game to get away.
What's raging, gamers? Welcome to the season 8 finale of Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. How you doing, HenricK the Wreck?
You know me, Chris. It's Wednesday. It's the season finale. I'm ready.
Man, it's been an amazing journey along this fun ride that we call Rage Quit. And HenricK the Wreck, it's always a pleasure joining you every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And all you gamers, right, HenricK?
Oh yeah, definitely. Always the highlight of the week.
Always, trust me. Oh, it definitely is. But we got a show here, and we might as well kick things off with the bang and show you guys a lot of viral content that is circulating all across the World Wide Web. So let's get it. Verdansk is officially back in Call of Duty Warzone after more than 3 years in the gulag, and players are flooding it like it never left. So Activision retired the iconic map in late 2021, but now it's been resurrected, and gamers are dropping in like it's 2020 all over again. Have you joined along for the ride? And if you haven't, maybe this question's not for you. But for everyone else, I know this is on your mind. Is the lobby full of hackers, or is it finally time to look in the mirror and whisper those cursed words? Do I have a skill issue, HenricK? I don't know. You be the judge, but this wasn't me. This is also somebody that kind of feels like something that I've gone through just recently in Call of Duty Warzone. So I love this clip. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Wait, this one's actually in the perfect spot. We block it. Block it all. Perfect. Oh, this is perfect. I gotta hide up here. This guy's gotta come get his loadout, right? Come on, please come get this loadout. Well, I'm hoping once he grabs the loadout, the Proxmine should immediately. Wait. Come on, please. It should. What? He said what? What are the odds this guy wins his huge and lands back on it? No. That's him. No way. Damn it, come on! Bye, Big John! You think you can get one more person this game? This buy's actually perfect for this, because there's no way to get to the buy without moving the car. I don't know, I guess we'll just go sit back here? I don't know, you think somebody's gonna see me here? I don't know, I feel like I blend in kind of well. I think there's a good spot. It's him! It's the Big John guy again! There's no way! He must have had a respawn pack! Wait, he's going to the buy. Do my Proxmine stay in that car after I'm dead? Oh, please! Oh my god, please still be in there! Please, get in the car! Please! There's no fucking way!
This reminds me
legendary.
exactly how I used to play a game called Battlefield 2. Yeah, let me just drop some bombs into this area and just wait for someone.
I always wish that I was that clever, though, when I'm playing my online games. Or at least I need a companion. It sounds like it was you all along, HenricK the Wreck. Where have you been all my life? But you know what? This is Call of Duty Warzone, and players deserve to get punked in the end. But let's dive right on into the comments. Bro just did a 10-hour shift just to get shit on by this guy. Yeah, can we take it easy just a little bit? Is it the hackers, or is it just, the working lads that, might just need to, rework those thumbs and get back into gaming esports athlete format? No, I'm just saying, like, they need to get back to being an esports athlete. Maybe it's not all about, pushing boxes, in your warehouse gigs. I don't know what you all doing right now, but you get the point. And the next one goes, the angry breathing while running to the truck. Bro definitely destroyed his controller after that. Yeah, that's always hilarious. I do know a friend, and I won't call you out by name, but you know who you are, that's always breathing heavily in your mic. And you're not angry, though. That's the weird part. Like, are you snoring? Are you sleeping? Or if that's really how you... maybe you need to call the doctor. And then the last comment here reads, bro turned villain after this. Yes,
this is a villain origin story for sure.
Or the arc.
He's going to track down that man and make sure he enters his lobby to just try to harass him.
And sometimes, you get those cats like that, they find your gamer tag and then they go, one more match, especially always in Madden. Yeah. Always in Madden. But hey, this clip is, I love it. Anybody play Ark Survival Evolved? I mean, it isn't for the faint of heart or for people who think petting T-Rex sounds like a good idea, because sometimes survival comes down to one thing: pure, unfiltered panic. And when things get sketchy, trust your instincts and run like a track star who knows better than to look back. Because the moment you glance over your shoulder, that's when a raptor turns your character into a prehistoric snack. So if you haven't seen this clip, let's go ahead and let's have a laugh.
Every time I see rocks breaking, I just start crying because I know how bad it's gonna get. But I sit here and I stand here. Okay, no. I don't hear him. I don't hear it. I don't hear it. I don't see. I hear and see no evil. 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 I'm not hearing it. I don't want to turn around. I don't want to turn around because I'm gonna be disappointed by my fate. I can't do it, bro. I can't turn around. I can't. I know he's there. I can't turn around. I can't.
See, it's always the second you turn around that they're gonna get you.
Yeah.
So he thought on his feet. He ran the other way, and he barely made it out alive.
See, sometimes not every game has to have like this dark aesthetic, going on. It could be bright as day and it's scary as shit. Maybe we need to learn something from Jurassic Park. These old dire wolves and messing around with genetics and stuff like that. What's next? The woolly mammoth? Like, I do not want to be running like that, man. Keep it virtual. But, bruh, I got scared and I was even expecting it. Did you kind of feel that anticipation coming?
Well, I knew it was coming.
Yeah,
I knew it was coming.
Because
I was
you
like,
played
it's
this
right
game.
behind him.
And then you get would have cut the game off and went for a walk.
Oh yeah,
or
need
you
that
just
break.
sounds like you need to play like Death Stranding or something. Not even that game can put you on the edge of your feet. And
those
also,
VTs? Come on, Chris.
the Donald Glover music video. Visit America. So yes, classic. I mean, people really know when to run or when not to. But then also, get this, the Just Cause series is a chaotic action fest so wild. Even Hollywood said, yeah, we need some of that in our lives. And so they have been gearing up to launch it into the cinematic universe because apparently there aren't enough explosions on screen already. So why would Just Cause work so well in theaters? I think it's pretty simple. It's the stunts, baby. I mean, if you've ever played the game, you got the grappling hooks, you got the wingsuits, and enough midair carjacking to make Fast and Furious look like a documentary. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, this man knows how to put the stunts in video games. Watch out!
If any of you are watching that and just wondering to yourself why are they doing this?
Yes.
I'll let you know why. Just cause.
Just good. I was like, I feel like I just had a blonde moment. I did not even see that one coming, fam. Okay, man, you were so slick with your words. Well, let's dive right on into the comments. Tom Cruise, your mission should you choose to accept. Wow, people are already calling for a fan casting. Would Tom Cruise be your man?
He could be the one because he could do all these stunts, or at least he would try to do all these.
Really?
Stunts.
I mean, wouldn't people just think it's Mission Impossible, just on steroids, or do they need to see someone else?
Basically, what he's typecast as now, just the Mission Impossible guy.
I don't know. When I was watching, I was kind of thinking about Hugh Jackman for some reason. I think that would be kind of a cool lead in the Just Cause series. I think he can, bring the humor and and the adrenaline that it needs for that franchise. Let's also move it along. Ooh. I'm looking. I have all eyes on you. People are, definitely getting aware that stunt is definitely legit. And also, this is straight up Hollywood blockbuster material. Just add some smoke to the plan, or the plane, I'm sure he was trying to say. Cue an epic gunfight and have the protagonist snag a high-tech super weapon and conveniently in the tunnel before hopping back on the plane. And boom, you've got the next Fast and Furious film. Nope, we've got Just Cause, man. Come on, man. Put some pride to that. But hey, we want to thank you, the gamers, for joining along for this Season 8 finale of Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. And for you, the gamers, this show would not be possible. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And for anybody that has not, subscribed to our YouTube channel, this is the QR code. Like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can find out all the fun glory that comes along with your boy, Chris Collins.
And you see that QR code, that one goes to my YouTube channel where there's tons of awesome content across different genres just waiting to be watched. So go there, go check them out, leave a comment. I reply to them. So I'm waiting.
That's right. And we
I'm
want.
waiting.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off right there. You're like, come on,
good.
man. I wasn't finished. Let me bring the gamers with me. Come on, man. You got to follow your boy, HenricK the Wreck. But hey, we want you, the gamers, to join along for the ride, whether you guys are joining from YouTube, Twitch, or Meta. Join along in the text box, the chat box, whatever you want to call it, the handy-dandy notebook, and doodaloo away, and you can easily be showcased here as a lower third live on air. So we definitely want to know your guys' thoughts and girls along the way. But HenricK the Wreck, are you ready to rock and roll, my friend?
Oh yeah, viewers, you won your gulag match. Congrats! It's time for pause or repeat.
Let's get it.
Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Schedule 1. Schedule 1 is a hit indie game by developer TVGS, or Tyler's Video Game Studio. It is still in early access but has received both praise and criticism alike. So let's take a look at what it has to offer and see for ourselves, starting first by going over the gameplay. The gameplay of Schedule 1 boils down to being all about inventory and time management. Put simply, you are making drugs and scheduling deals with clients while evading authorities and developing your business. You'll start with marijuana and eventually delve into deeper drugs as well. The goal is to keep expanding your business, as it is your character's way of making money. You are kept busy maintaining the conditions needed for success, such as keeping soil at the ready and watered, or even just simply taking out the trash. And the authorities are always on the lookout for any shady business. They make their patrol rounds, and if they see you dealing, they will attempt to apprehend you. There is also a curfew, which if you are seen during, they will stop you. Overall, the gameplay is straightforward and simple, but keeps you busy and hits the right satisfaction levels when you finally deliver your product to clients. So what's the story here? You play as an up-and-coming drug dealer. At the start of the game, you almost get caught by a police raid, but manage to make it out of town and over to Highland Point. Your Uncle Nelson is left behind, and he gets put in jail, left to periodically call you and guide you through business expansion. From there, you are tasked to expand your business while evading the authorities and any threats from rival drug cartels. But now the question still stands. Pause.
All right, time to relive Breaking Bad all over again, and this time we get to be part of it.
Hey, before we hold on, HenricK. Before we even begin, should we really be having this conversation on air, or should we be listening to Uncle Nelson and be going directly to the payphone? Keep it there, right?
Yeah. Let me go outside of the payphone that doesn't exist anymore, Chris.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah, but you know the gameplay. It's very much just all the little tasks you gotta do. You know, you gotta put the drugs in the bag. You gotta seal up the bag, put it in the hopper. All that, plus all the other things of like taking out the trash, nipping the little bits of buds off the plants.
Yeah, keep environmentally
all the
friendly.
Little,
you know.
Yeah, exactly. All the little like small steps to get to the point of actually doing the deals. So
Yeah,
my question to you, Chris, is this actually satisfying, or is it just tedious?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of really hard choices to make. You know, do I want to affect the environment by, you know, blowing gas emissions with my car? Should I just ride around, you know, on a skateboard and do my thing with Schedule 1? I mean, this game might sound like your dentist's least favorite paperwork, but it's, you know, actually a one-way ticket to becoming the digital love child of Tony Montana. And like HenricK the Wreck just said, Walter White. I mean, Breaking Bad, you know, you fans out there are going to love this kind of style of game. I mean, it's not like your normal, like, you know, open world simulator, right? You start off in Highland Point, which I would say is like a very grungy West Coast city that I can only imagine smells like vape juice and broken dreams. You've got no money, no product, no friends, and somehow you're one bad hoodie away from becoming the next cartel CEO, HenricK.
Yeah, and that city somehow ends up being like the perfect place for you to just expand your business, because turns out pretty much everyone in this town does drugs of some sort.
Yeah, no,
You
it's
just
so
have to
true.
offer them a sample, and then they'll be willing to, buy some later if they need to.
But yeah, because this game doesn't take itself seriously, right? I mean, it's goofy, it's crime sprinkled sandbox where you're not saving the world, you're chemically reprogramming it. I mean, 1 minute you're growing weed, the next you're laundering money at the laundromat, and all while you're skating around town like Jesse Pinkman with the felony record. I mean, those kind of games where you definitely do feel the edge like really, really quickly, especially within like the first 30 minutes of gameplay. I would say, HenricK, the cops, man, they're really on your ass.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
there are definitely repercussions to living this, crime-ridden lifestyle.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, once you start to get like a way to fight back against them, man, you can just take a bat out and whack them and then run away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the game is like, all right, you're just going to do that? Okay, sure.
Yeah. It doesn't take itself seriously. It's not like trying to be like a power washer, right? HenricK,
no.
it's or the car mechanic.
It is
or
a simulator,
cop
but not like trying to be a realistic simulator.
Yeah, or like something like that's educational. By all means, it's not. But this game doesn't dry up like bud left out in the sun. It's dope. It's refreshing. It's breathing new life into indie game created by one developer, by the way. I think that is really, really very much a thing to highlight within this game.
Yeah.
And HenricK, how would you describe this gameplay? I feel like it's like a mix of GTA for degenerates and Roller Coaster Tycoon if rides were Coke Labs and a splash of co-op chaos, which really adds to the fun if you want to, flesh out that full-blown cartel.
Oh yeah, I mean that does do a pretty good job of actually explaining it, because you really have the one side of the gameplay where it's just wacky moments and evading the cops, maybe beating up some people, pickpocketing some people, typical GTA stuff.
Fart in your face.
Yeah, exactly. But then on the other hand, you have the actual business side of things where you are managing your drug empire. And you can get really in depth with that to the point of planning out, okay, I have all these deals that I'm making and I'm going to schedule them out. I can run over to this side of the town, do this deal. And then in another few minutes, I can make it to this deal. It gets very complex very quickly. But at the same time, it's not the kind of game that forces you to go to that route. You can actually just keep it pretty simple and still have fun. It's pretty flexible in that respect.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, because I feel like that supply and demand loop is strangely comforting, right? I mean, you get the harvest, you craft, deliver, profit, repeat, and then you wake up the next day, So you're going to be having to mix the right recipe, and then suddenly your drugs could give people super speed, and then mix the wrong one, and then people explode. And it's not a bug in the game, it's a business risk, and I think that's what makes it so much fun, whether you're pushing meth, coke, or whatever nightmare potion you just cooked up in the back of a bodega. I mean, one thing's clear. I mean, this game is dangerously fun. It's like Scarface meets Half-Baked with just a pinch of Pineapple Express energy.
Yeah, and it's only still in early access, so there's plenty of stuff that will be coming out in the roadmap. I'm sure the developer wasn't necessarily expecting the amount of success that he got.
Yeah, for real.
So he was, kind of has a bit more on his plate now that he has a bit of an expectation to fulfill.
Yeah.
But it seems like he has a good idea of where to take the game. You do get a threat from a rival cartel, and there isn't really much of interaction beyond the threat, and that is something on the roadmap. Is there will
or
eventually
even just
be
expanding, Uncle
threat.
Nelson's story. You're right. Yeah,
or,
that too.
That too. Yeah, because that is the thing. The story is not super fleshed out.
Yeah.
So don't go into this game thinking you're gonna get an Elden Ring level of storytelling. It's not at that point.
Yeah,
It probably will never be,
true.
honestly, at that point. But they can flesh it out a bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would like to see it fleshed out a little bit more, just because I think the quirkiness will keep the single player experience alive. I think the co-op is a lot of fun. I know a lot of from even my own friend even telling me, he's like, listen, look, I think it's a lot of fun, but even when you start a co-op experience, sometimes you wish you can continue that journey even if he can't jump on at the same time with you. So maybe that's something they can fix, in a later update in the future. But, just the fact that you can, screw around, HenricK, and like mix OG Kush with mouthwash to make purple cheese. And then you mix the purple cheese with Viagra to receive, stinky fuel, or mix the purple cheese with banana to, receive a California rhino. And all these like stupid things come with trial and error. And a lot of like, what the hell am I doing? Which I think that's why Schedule 1 works so well, because it builds up that curiosity as you approach each day. It's, it's like, it's got all that silly stuff. You can gamble, you're learning how to, micromanage, like you said, there's a great crafting system, harvesting elements, your mixing stations. It's definitely got a lot of quirkiness all along this game.
Yeah, and that co-op mode does actually make it just even more fun. There is the downside.
And running from the police.
And there is the downside. You can't, continue it unless both of you are there. But at the same time, I can commend there being a co-op mode in the first place. That's not always going to be expected from a game like this.
No, I think that's why this game works even better, because like my buddy joined my empire, and then within like 30 minutes, the cops were down, we had to hide, in dumpsters, and then somehow, we had to replace the, the wheat crop, and then something started glowing green. There's always a bunch of weird things that were like never planned out, but just kind of happen. And I think that's why this game is a bit refreshing, and it doesn't have to have like this like crazy like NPC format. Maybe some people are expecting with like Oblivion remastered, like it's going to be completely revamped, especially when you keep it kind of not so polished in the end. Kind of gives it that, pizzazz that maybe it needs. But I don't know, HenricK. I just feel like, say hello to your new favorite fix. I feel like it's a repeat, even when it's in early access. How about yourself?
Yeah, this is a definite repeat. This is something that I am going to be keeping my eye on, especially when more updates come out, because it's great already, and it can only get better from here, right? So
yeah, for $20, and I highly prefer. I can't believe I'm even saying this, but I think it runs a little bit better on the PC, play wise. You can play it on the console, but on the PC, it's just a little bit of a different experience. I think it's a little bit more, user friendly. But then again, hey, you, the gamers, let us know what's good. Are you vibing with Schedule 1? Do you think it's a repeat for endless fun, or is it a pause to be like, you know what? I had my days in Highland Point. I'm out of here. Let us know what's good. But HenricK the Wreck, are you ready to rock and roll, my friend? Because we got so much left to discuss during this Season 8 finale.
Yes, we do. So let's get the ball rolling.
Let's get it, baby. Rolling, rolling, rolling. What? What's good, listeners? Welcome to Patch Notes, where my co-host HenricK the Wreck and I discuss gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. Let's get it. Florida and New Jersey officials are taking a hard look at Roblox and Discord, and no, not the curious parents trying to understand their kids' little block game or talkie app. No, Florida Attorney General James Uthenmeyer has subpoenaed Roblox to figure out how the game is being marketed to kids and whether the company is doing anything, literally anything, to stop the shady folks from creeping into kid-friendly servers. Or is it actually a kid-friendly server anymore? Did they want us created as like an all-thing dating app, HenricK? I don't know. Anyways,
that's true, they did.
They're asking all the big questions. How are you moderating content? Are kids bypassing parental controls with ease? And is your age verification more secure than click this checkbox if you're totally 13 years old? And meanwhile, in New Jersey, Attorney General Matthew Platkin is dragging Discord into court, claiming the platform's safety claims are more fiction than fanfic. So the lawsuit says Discord's doing a poor job keeping those underage users, and might be padding the truth when it comes to how safe the app really is for kids. So yeah, it's I would say, HenricK, less having kids having fun online and more let the digital playground become a legal minefield. And so, gamers obviously are going to react to this kind of style of news because, these are massive, massive, platforms, that we're discussing right now. So let's begin. The first comment that we got here is New Jersey AG launches lawsuit against Discord for allegedly failing to protect children from sexual predators on their app. The example includes a 22-year-old instructed kids under 13 to send explicit photos. Another incident was a 31-year-old committed sexual acts while video chatting with children. 32-year-old teacher charged after he sent an explicit image to a 14-year-old. That's just one of the few cases that is being highlighted amongst the Discord lawsuit. The next one reads, I'm an adult, played Roblox for years as a kid, haven't played for well over a decade. That said, I would love for a game like it, which is made for adults. Wish you could just have an internet for adults and one for kids. I shouldn't have to walk on eggshells everywhere on the off. So I know they've been trying to help that in a sense a little bit. I know in Roblox's, community, because I know they're like, hey, if you're not over 13, you shouldn't be a part of the nightclub. Or these open chat spaces.
It ends up being one of those things that's kind of hard to enforce at the end of the day, unfortunately. I
especially like a different internet. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, no, don't download Google Chrome.
I definitely remember, and I'm sorry that this is a thing that I'm admitting, but trying to play some free-to-play game, and it's saying like, oh, make sure you're above this age. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I am. And even though I'm like years below it.
No, that's exactly the point.
So,
right?
yeah,
I mean,
it's
like
super easy to bypass that when there's not much to really check.
Yeah, no, I think that's an absolute great point, HenricK. I mean, on one hand, parents are to blame for what their kids have access to and experience. On the other, these companies that market to children have a duty to facilitate a safe product. If no controls are available, then I think there may be a valid claim. And so, yeah, even in the past, I know, companies are saying, numerous years, we keep pushing for a lot of, safety features that you as a parent can, be accessible for your own child. But sometimes that's not really the point, right? I mean, and Roblox has been shady for ages. So there's just people out there that are just like, yeah, I think it's about time, Roblox, which is like, let's not be deceived by the graphics. Just because the graphics looks like it's only played by people that are under the age of 13. There are a lot of adults on there. I mean, there's a reason why there's such a high number in the millions, playing this game online. And then also the problem with Roblox is if you create a brand new account, you'll be recommended an 18+ shower game. They'll promote a Meep City, a Diddy party, recommend, kind of pornographic clothing, and you'll find inappropriate avatars in most games. And when reported to Roblox, their support will just say nothing is wrong and dismiss it. Even if you report a profile with a bypass username that says they are a PDF file in their bio, the support team will still respond saying the account is fine. Yeah, because Roblox is probably like, oh, gosh, because our filter's kind of screwed up, HenricK. We don't want to take money away. We're kind of creating this kind of creator hub system where, like, if they sell these pornographic clothing, these fake little digital avatar, we take a certain percentage away from it. So, yeah, maybe until, the states start fussing about it, maybe we'll have to start putting a little bit of limitations to it. Or do they even care? I wonder. But then this last comment reads, parents really need to take extra steps to protect their children online. Yes, it's okay for them to have a phone when they reach the proper age for safety issues, but I think parents should also monitor what kids do on their phones because of the amount of heinous things online that kids should never be exposed to is immense. Yeah, it kind of reminds me in the moment, HenricK, about how, in Australia is like, working out, how to, limit young adolescents from even being able to access just the, social media in general, even just to make an account. So, like, I guess, when it comes back to, Discord and Roblox, the real question is, on a scale from a mild slap on the wrist to delete your account and lawyer up, how screwed are Roblox and Discord right now?
Well, it's really not a good look for both of them. And you might be wondering what even is the relevance between Discord and Roblox. Well, Roblox is just a very popular game, like you were saying, and not just kids play this game. There's a lot of game modes that are fun that I would hop in and say that's fun. I don't really play Roblox like that, but I look at the gameplay. I'm like, oh, actually, that seems like it's pretty fun.
Well, it's an open sandbox where people can kind of create numerous different kind of mini games. I mean, imagine it's like Nintendo's Mario Party, but people can just kind of make like endless fun. There's a reason why there's 85 million people play games on that site daily.
And the reason why Discord is involved here is because it's the most popular chat app for game communication.
Absolutely.
Specifically, it is probably used more so on phones and also on PC.
PC gaming. Yeah.
So,
I mean, it has, definitely
when
has
you
its
have a
app,
game
on
like
the consoles
Roblox
too.
that, yeah, but it's a little bit more difficult to really, manage the conversation on consoles
It
through
can be a
Discord.
blessing for certain games, I'll tell you that.
It can be, yeah.
Especially when
But
I'm playing, with some of my cross-play
yeah,
friends.
exactly. When you need to have some way to communicate, right? And Discord ended
Yeah,
up
exactly.
being the way that people just communicate. It's the
I mean,
reason
dude,
why so many
Discord has
lobbies are
over
empty with nobody talking is because they're all
but
in
Discord's
Discord.
got 200 million people monthly. Of
Hmm.
course, there's, states are going to have to start, looking at the app's safety features for children. It's just
Yeah.
exploded over the years. And I know, last year, the Discord, the ex-chief, executive officer and co-founder, Jason Citron was called to testify before the U.S. Senate at a hearing on protecting children online. And then we find out today, before we jump on air, he has stepped down. Kind of
Hmm.
crazy. I mean, he's still on the board of directors, but that's pretty wild. And then now, we're starting to hear a little bit more development that they're saying that they want to become a public company now after the resignation, or a publicly traded company. There's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, and it really feels like both Roblox and Discord, while yeah, they're for-profit companies, they have profit really heavily in mind and not so much the safety of the people on the platform from what it seems based on their actions. Discord, for example, is so focused on cutting out features from free users and instead putting it as part of the Nitro package. So if you want to have bigger file uploads, Nitro, you got to have Nitro.
Yeah.
Things like that. It's just like you're so focused on making money, but you're not actually focusing on making the platform safe. So much so to the point that like there was a
That the politicians have to
Discord.
step in. You're like, oh my gosh.
Exactly, and then
Yeah.
that's the problem where it's like I know you're as the company, and you don't want to have the government stepping in because you want to have that open, free, accessible app to be just downloaded by anyone and constantly be making money. But when you have that government oversight, they're gonna make sure that you don't make any mistakes, and it's just gonna probably hinder your business. You are
Yeah.
gonna lose money, and that's not a good thing for you. But if it means that the kids are safer, maybe it is going to have to be a thing that you'll have to deal with as a company.
Yeah, and that's why we're not going to pretend here live on air that we got the right answers on how to conduct Discord or Roblox. We even know we're just kind of stating out the facts here for people. I know Roblox has published 40 safety updates in 2024. The company said earlier this month, as it is saying we are bringing new tools to parents to control how children interact with strangers. And I know one of the major changes that was announced in November prevents children from under 13 from accessing what they call social hangouts on the platform, which would be like virtual clubs or discussion forums. But that doesn't stop, where, let's say, for example, Bloomberg Business Week had an investigation last July that uncovered Roblox's challenges combating, child predators. U.S. police have arrested more than 24 people accused of abusing or abducting victims they met or groomed on Roblox since 2018, according to their reports. So, yeah, this is definitely, I don't think, something that anybody would argue with. I mean, literally last week on Patch Notes on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show, we covered how we were shocked that, the age verification tool was so easy to manipulate, even on Valve's storefront, Steam, to be able to access a game called No Mercy, which was like, why would you even want to be associated with that game to begin with? So, yeah, this is definitely an ongoing problem, and I don't see an issue with, exploring it. But what are ways to be able to address this issue? That's where we're going to leave this open-end conversation for you, the gamers. So let us know what's good. But HenricK the Wreck, let's switch it up a little bit. I know, wow, the momentum for this game is blowing up fast. Set the tone, baby.
One of the great classics of Bethesda jank is back.
Yes.
We got the Oblivion Remastered. It's officially arrived, and it's chunkier than your mod folder after a midnight download spree.
I know, it definitely on your computer, that's for sure.
Hey, you know what? Last time I played Skyrim, I did have to download a bunch of mods because I just needed it to be different.
I'm sure the people that
game
own the original file for Oblivion just wish their mods would just translate. I'm sure it's not truly the case.
Yeah, it's not going to be as easy as that, unfortunately. It's going to be a lot of work.
You won't need it. You won't need it because, is it a remaster or a remake?
I'm sure people would beg to differ on that, Chris.
Yes.
But anyways, Bethesda has tried to hit us with that slick surprise launch because they did shadow drop this after they announced it in a stream that they were working on it. They were like, yeah, and also, by the way, it's available right now. So go buy it or play it on Game Pass. But this was all thanks to the leaks that we even knew about this happening in the first place. And yeah, it ended up being one of those games.
Yeah,
that,
it was a bit lackluster. I mean, they were trying
we
to
know
get excited
so
on
far
here.
ahead of it coming out because people are so perceptive about this sort of thing.
I mean, people are starting to get really, really good, at digging it up. And also, wasn't there an like a filing, that kind of like leaked it too, in a sense? I could be totally wrong on it. Someone could correct me in the chat.
Yeah, that and people start digging into like the changes of title listings on Steam, and it's like, okay, something's happening here, either an update or something else, and kind of speculation starts happening.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Now we've got the age-old RPG identity crisis because everyone's now asking, is Oblivion a remaster or a remake? It's a pretty old game, and it does look a lot different with better lighting and even more ways to accidentally punch a guard, perhaps.
That's very 110%. Those are definitely very, very real. So
the title does say remaster, so they say it's a remaster, but let's be real, when has Bethesda ever stuck to one path in a dialogue tree? So it could be entirely wrong with the way that they're representing the game. And of course, we got tons of comments in terms of debating one way or the other, so let's go ahead and take a look at those.
Yeah, let's dive right on into it. I got the first comment here, which reads, for many people, myself included, who didn't play as much Oblivion or who were very young, this is essentially getting a brand new Elder Scrolls today. Yeah, I mean, you look at this photo, it looks majestic. I mean, if someone told you it was Oblivion, would you believe it?
No. Actually, funny enough, this looks a lot closer to Avowed.
Yeah, I can see that. You also get people that say, I feel like they're overcorrected on the art style here. Yeah, man, people are kind of missing some of that goofiness. What happened? But it's okay. You don't have to hesitate. I clearly was not familiar with your game. Oblivion Remastered. Look at the beautiful character creations that we've already started to circulate all across the World Wide Web. How beautiful are those people? I actually would be very, very terrified.
Amazing creations, as always, from the character creation in Bethesda games.
Oh, no, don't do that. I don't want to play with you anymore. I guess people are starting to move on from Baldur's Gate 3 because this Oblivion Remastered has come out. And then, wow, I mean, look at those numbers. I mean, it is quite incredible. But then you're going to get people that are going to be bitching and complaining about body type 1 and 2, a thing in Oblivion Remastered is just desperately scraping the bottom of the outrage barrel. No one's mad with you. We're laughing at you. You're embarrassing yourself here. Take one of those little charts you love waving around to. Yeah, that is definitely really funny. I did see some people that were all questioning about, oh no, another game. And it's like, dude, can you just stop, man? Have you ever played Elden Ring? Did they name it the same thing too? Oh,
yeah.
I mean, let's go back to this image. What pronoun would give this?
What do you define this creation?
What is under your email signature? I have no idea. And then last, yes, as it's shadow dropped and it's $50, it's over for me. My social life is disappearing. Yes, with Monster Hunter Wilds and Oblivion. So yeah, people are getting really, really excited. That RPG is just full sail. Like everybody's on top of the crow's nest and everybody's just loving life. So HenricK, now everyone's scratching their heads though a little bit, asking like, wait, is this a remaster or a remake? Because it says remastered, but it's walking, talking, and charging your SSD like it's something way bigger.
Well, the way that I always view the difference between a remaster and a remake is a remaster is there's minor tweaks to gameplay maybe, but overall the big upgrade is in the fidelity, the textures, the lighting, visual effects. Not so much like gameplay necessarily, whereas a remake that is you're building the game from the ground up all from scratch again. Maybe, taking inspiration, obviously, but it's gonna feel like a different game based on just the fact that it's fully remade and re-envisioned from the ground up, whereas a remaster is not.
It's like, my first, thought when I think about remaster and remake is I start thinking about Final Fantasy VII remake, right?
That's a
And then
great-
you want to
great
start thinking
choice.
about Oblivion remastered, right? Where
Mhm.
you think about Final Fantasy VII remake, where everything is redesigned from scratch, yet it offers a far more than a standard remastered. So, like, I'm just wondering, like, why did Bethesda opt out to go with, remastered, HenricK?
Well, some people could have a bit of a conspiracy theory on that Bethesda can't make a new game because all they can do is things that flop or flop like Starfield, and especially when it comes to Elder Scrolls game, yeah, that Elder Scrolls 6 reveal way too early, guys. You
Way too
clearly
early.
did not have anything ready right away, and you don't have anything
Or
ready
maybe this
still to
does
show us.
get people excited for what the future
Well,
of Elder
probably
Scrolls
this
series is.
this probably is going to be the game that
I
they
think it's going to really
finish
hype people up.
now before they start to actually show us more Elder Scrolls 6
Yeah.
details. Maybe not gameplay yet, but details at least, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I
Todd
feel like
Howard, please.
obviously, Oblivion Remastered is still Oblivion at heart, and it's calling it a remastered supports this like idea that it's a lot more than calling it a remake would. I mean,
Yeah.
you definitely love this lush vegetation. The lighting in the game is fantastic. They got revamped enemies. They got a whole new, semi-realistic, fantasy environment that is really, really cool. You would have thought that this was like a modded Skyrim experience, but, a Blight, a more fluid one, I would say. So like, you look at it, you see the use of Unreal Engine 5. I mean, it definitely certainly helps when you got virtuous, developers detailing in such a major way when it comes to that immersive feel that you get from just the lighting in the game, and 115 gigabyte file size as well.
Yeah. Yeah, very big file size. Definitely contending with the likes of Call of Duty at that point for your hard drive space.
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you do get these new character and combat animations. They definitely worked out the NPC voice lines. They even kept some of the bloopers, which is really, really cool. But it's just the lip sync technology, which is just out of this world. And the redesigned menu and interfaces really is like a grand return, to this iconic game that I know a lot of people that are, only just jumped into Skyrim for the first time are going to jump into this, and they're going to go like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I'm playing an entirely brand new game from Bethesda, which is really, really bitchin' compared to Resident Evil 4. Like, come on. Like,
it's
really,
also
like,
a return to all the jankiness of this game.
yes, exactly.
Because
So,
this game definitely does have its Bethesda charm. It's Bethesda jank, depending on your perspective, whether you think it's charm or jank. It has plenty of that. So,
and it's for
ready.
$50 too, and there is a deluxe edition, for $60 where you can get a little bit more of these add-ons, which I think is really, really bitchin'. And it's definitely setting the tone. We're getting games that are like increasingly raising in prices. I'm not usually a big fan of these whole remasters and remakes, but like if they continue to, I feel like this has just been set a whole new standard of how we expect games to be delivered moving forward if we're gonna be doing this whole remaster or remake. But I don't know. I guess that's the real open-end question. You, the gamers, you have to let us know. Like, do you identify this new Oblivion as a remaster, or do you really think it's a remake, or do you just don't give a shit? Let us know what's good. But yeah, we're gonna switch things up a little bit because Medicaid, America's health insurance safety net for low-income people, is funded by both the states and federal government. And like anything that actually helps people, it's become a target for cuts by the Trump administration. You probably wonder, like, what the hell are we talking about this on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show? Well, the reason, it's obviously video games. House Speaker Mike Johnson tried to justify sneaky Medicaid cuts by claiming, quote, "It will return the dignity of work to young men who need to be out working instead of playing video games all day," end quote. Because clearly the real
and touch
threat.
grass is what he's saying.
No, I don't want to. Shame. No, I'm just kidding. But clearly the real threat to the healthcare system isn't rising cost. It's dudes playing Elden Ring in their pajamas. So let's go ahead and take a look, if you haven't seen what he said, across the web.
No one has talked about cutting one benefit in Medicaid to anyone who's duly owed. What we've talked about is returning work requirements. So, for example, you don't have able-bodied young men on a program that's designed for single mothers and the elderly and disabled. They're draining resources from people who are actually do that. So if you clean that up and shore it up, you save a lot of money and you return the dignity of work to young men who need to be out working instead of playing video games all day. We have a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse in Medicaid. Just one tiny example. The estimate is $51 billion a year in Medicaid is lost to fraud. That's unconscionable. We now have, with the DOGE efforts and with new algorithms and with new oversight responsibilities and opportunities, we have ability to carve that out. We have a responsibility to do it. That estimate by some people, some estimates.
The classic deflection of blame to something else.
Yeah, very true, Henry, because here's the kicker, gamers. I mean, part of the plan is to slap work requirements on Medicaid eligibility, something only Georgia's tried so far. Bless their hearts. But to justify this new bureaucratic speed bump, Republicans are arguing that free health care is turning young men into full-time gamers. Yep. Apparently, access to a doctor means you'll never leave your beanbag chair or put down the controller. So before Medicaid gets patched with the job application minigame, let's see what gamers have to say about what House Speaker Mike Johnson has to say about, taking the video games away from us. Get us back to work, damn it. Says the weirdo who roped his son into some weird anti-masturbation app. And yes, you can check it out. There is a Rolling Stone story that says Mike Johnson admits he and his son monitor each other's porn intake and resurface video. Also, that effing app website is so creepy. It's called Covenant Eyes. Totally normal father-son relationship here. Nothing to see, folks. Move along.
Yeah, just move along. Don't pay attention to that.
Oh, boy. I guess they got tired of slamming us childless cat ladies and sluts who want abortions. It's your turn now, guys. As a millennial, I can't have avocado toast. Now, as a guy, I can't play video games. It's such a double whammy world. Yeah, dude, my life is actually starting to get really, really tough. Mike Johnson, out of my household. You know what? I don't even have a controller to share with you, man. You suck, man. And then F off. I work like 9 hours a day. If I want to play video games when I get home, that's my prerogative. Yeah, isn't that kind of exactly the point? I mean, Mike doesn't know what a real job is. He doesn't understand the idea of going to a place, putting in a full day's of work, and then having free time, however limited, to do what you wish. I'm sure Mike did at one point work a full-time gig and understand. No, I think, obviously I feel like this is maybe a little bit harsh, but let's be real. It's so true what that first comment reads, right, HenricK? It's like people work 9-hour days, 10-hour days. People want to read a book. They want to watch a movie at the end of the day. They want to listen to music, or maybe they want to work out, play pool at the local bar.
What is so different playing video games versus just being a couch potato watching TV for the rest of the night? It's the same thing. At the end of the day, you're not being productive in some respect, but you're doing something you enjoy to do. That's what matters.
Come on, man. And then you heard him, boys. Onward to the salt mines. The children yearn for the mines. Yes, Jack Black will lead the charge. And then maybe he should tell this to Elon, who can't even beat a tutorial boss. Isn't that so funny? You almost wonder if that's like a stab towards Elon Musk or maybe not the entire, gaming community. But then actually him losing to that boss was a 5D chess move to get woke out of games. I haven't quite heard that one yet, but keep telling yourself that. And then bro wants men off computers and back on the factory floor like it's 1960s or something. So yeah, it's definitely always odd, HenricK, when a politician blames video games for everything wrong with society. So should we be concerned about the youth, or should we just check their other hand to make sure they're not unplugging grandma's Medicaid while yelling out Call of Duty corrupting the nation?
Well, what's always funny is when someone in politics blames video games, it's such a big thing for some reason by the news. They're like, oh yeah, the video games are so bad. All right, everyone who just said that video games are bad, give me your phone. Let me see what you got installed. Let me see you got video games installed on your phone, probably. Is it Candy Crush or is it something else? Let's find out.
No, it's Blatro. Blatro,
There you go, yeah. Blatro is ruining the society norms.
Created a gambling addiction amongst those kids. Damn it, HenricK. I can't believe we covered that game. Oh, no. Don't tell Mike Johnson about it. Maybe we need another app, new Covenant Eye. But like, again, when Mike Johnson drops in his line about young men requiring Medicaid support because they're quote-unquote playing video games all day, this is a deliberate act of misinformation and total misdirection. I mean, in his speech, he even suggests that this act by single men gamers are taking money away from the deserving recipients of access to health care, single mothers, and the elderly and the disabled. Just got to keep in mind, this is the same Mike Johnson who in January this year tried to stop a bill that would allow new mothers to remotely vote in the 6 weeks after giving birth. And in that same month, a leak revealed that Johnson's proposals that would remove tax cuts from single parents. So I think like the point that I'm trying to make is he doesn't give a shit about single mothers and the awful effects of video games that are indirectly causing them. You know what I mean, HenricK? I mean, it's so stupid to keep blaming video games. It's the same thing with Doom, co-blame for the Columbine, high school massacre. It's like the gun violence that's happening across the country, which, matter of fact, there's also never been any proof that video games are the reason that the United States has 120 guns per 100 people. So, take that for what you will. But I don't think there's any argument, HenricK, that video games aren't unproblematic. I mean, we just literally covered in pause or repeat Schedule 1, right? Even though we've all had our crime spree in Los Santos, Vice City. Am I missing another world? But, video games are... Yeah, right, exactly, right? So, like, video games are as political as any other form of media, and they can absolutely be used to attempt to spread harmful ideas or normalize bigotry. It's no different than cinema, theater, books, or songs. So, like, when people start saying, pointing the finger at video games, it's to detract you from what's really going on. And it's so super, super lame that politicians keep going down this road, HenricK.
Yeah, but unfortunately it is, like you're saying, just another tactic of misdirection. Focus on this issue that I'm bringing up right now. Don't pay attention to the other thing that's on fire to my right. Just look at this over here.
Yeah, right. Everything's fine, sipping on the coffee. But hey, do you think, this is where we leave it off to you, the gamers. Do you think House Speaker Mike Johnson's got a point? I mean, do we need to take a hard look in the mirror and say, like, hey, you guys really are sucking up all the funds, that could really be used for, people, that are for low-income individuals, which, by the way, like 65% of them are actually working on Medicaid. And I wonder what the rest are. Oh, yeah, that's right. They have disabilities. They don't work. That's right. Oh, yeah. Something maybe Mike Johnson needs to figure out. Or, you know what? Forget it. This is not even an open-end question. Mike Johnson's an idiot. Let's go ahead and push this conversation forward because we don't really need to hear it. We already know. I mean, this guy just sounds like a doofus. And watch, 3 months from now, he's going to say the same thing over and over again when he does another CNN or MSNBC appearance or Fox News. Jesus, oh my. But let's end off the show with the bang, HenricK. Let's have some fun, right?
Yes, let's wrap up this season of Rage Quit with a bang. And by bang, we mean a good old-fashioned Reddit showdown.
That's right. Come on.
As we always do. Well, one gamer tossed a grenade into the comments section with this week's question. Games where the main character isn't really the protagonist? The internet did what it does best, and spoiler alert, the takes were hotter than a console left running Oblivion, the remaster, not the original one.
Well,
Just
you never
for
know.
reference.
Depends on which PC device you're on.
Yes. So let's go ahead and let's dive into those comments.
Yeah, I'm about it. Let's go right on in. So the first one that we got here is there was an old PS3 game, White Knight. You create your own character, and it turns out they're just always in the background. Felt weird, but I love the game. With another follow-up comment that reads, White Knight Chronicles and 2. Yes, it was made for the online multiplayer that was popular in Japan at the time, and the hardcore vibes during cutscenes of my character literally has no idea what's going on. And honestly, I'm not even sure if he speaks the same language as anyone else. That says a lot. And he goes, I don't even think he understands what you're saying. Final Fantasy 12, for most part, you play as a POV character, but the story is 100% revolves around the other characters. Yeah. You know,
one of those games that's kind of like there's such a strong cast of characters that your main character definitely is not that important.
Yeah, not very centralized in the end. And you also get here Mountain Blade Warband. It's Jeremus world, and we're just living in it. I've never played this game, so I can't really speak on it, but I'm sure it's pretty badass. And then we also get, most recent one. Interesting. Kingdom Come Deliverance, both 1 and 2. You're just a dude. Plot is happening around you. You just happen to be there for some of it, and you have your own motivation for doing stuff, but that isn't really the main story. Daddy's sword.
Yeah,
it's kind of a good case to be made. And then Fire Emblem Awakening is my first thought. Fire Emblem 7, the one with Lynn, Elwood, and Hector as well. Your player character is just named Tactician, who exists in the story, but it's not one of the MCs. And last, Soma. He is, but he is not. That's cheating, but
You got to play the game really to get that one. And,
yeah,
and when you get it, you'll be like, oh, whoa, what?
That game, sadly, it's really hard to get past. It's a very scary game. It's not for the faint of heart. Leave the lights on. But HenricK, what's that game where you think it's your story, but halfway through you realize you're basically the intern in someone else's epic saga? I mean, like you are the hero, or are you just the guy that's holding the loot bag while the real protagonist makes history?
So for this one, I'm actually going to say a great example is Nier Automata, because
yeah,
you look at that, you look at that cover art, of 2B and 9S. You're like, okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure 2B is the main character, and 9S is just my sidekick companion. Nope, that's not the case. And why is that? Well, I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't played the game.
Well, yeah.
But go through the different endings.
Clever storytelling, though.
Yes, and when you get through the first ending, you'll realize why it's not 2B that's the main character. So,
yeah, this question was so freaking hard. That's why I love Reddit. I mean, people always come up with some of the juiciest kind of conversations out there, and I love how everybody just piles on in with like great takes, because a lot of these games were like not what I was thinking about. I think I'm gonna go a little bit more mainstream with this one, HenricK. I would say Borderlands, because you're basically the universe's most heavily armed bystander. I mean, you're like these vault hunters that show up, you shoot everything that moves, and then somehow still feel like the side characters in their own power fantasy or power trip fantasy, right? It's like, I don't know, like being the roadie at a rock concert. You're technically part of the tour, but no one came to see you. Or you can also think of Stray, right? I mean, it's
Oh, yeah.
absolute perfection. I love the game, but you're just like a cat. You're just vibing through a robot apocalypse. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but let's just knock over this cup off the ledge and, just try to find my other lost kitty friends. And you're not really the hero. You're just kind of along for the ride. There's extra cuteness in it, not really much dialogue. It's just a lot of left to wonder and space out, in that world and kind of go, where do you go? Where are they trying to go with this? The developers. I think that's why people are kind of excited for a potential sequel. I've heard there's one. So, yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at. But I wonder what the other gamers are going to come up with, man. You actually had a really, really good one. Near Automata. That's a great point. But let us know what's good, gamers. But, man, Season 8 finale of Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show has been such a blast. We can't thank you, the gamers, for always tuning in live every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because without your support, gamers, this show would not be possible. And, we just want to take one last moment to let you guys know, if you haven't liked, share, subscribed, hit the notification bell, scan the QR code. This takes you directly to my YouTube channel. You know the drill.
And bask one last time for this season in the glory of my QR code, where it goes to my YouTube channel, where there's tons of awesome content just waiting to be watched. So go watch some videos, leave a comment for me, call me out, whatever it is, I'll give you a comment back.
Let's get it, baby. And yes, we'll be off for a week, and then we will be back ready than ever when it comes to the Season 9 opener. Man, oh man, we have grown so massively, and we can't thank you, the gamers, enough for always joining along for the ride. So without you guys, thank you. The show would not be possible. But for now, toodaloo, have some fun playing lots of video games, and we will see you in the near future. Peace.
See ya.